Why is Paul George on the board? I just want to understand.
Oh man,
because Paul George last week
Ski Mask Hall of Fame.
He might be the. Don't you wish for the days when all you had to complain about was Tobias Harris' contract? Remember that?
And he killing.
In Detroit.
He's doing well.
I didn't want to lose to
Paul George said that he's stopping his podcast to focus on winning a championship.
Thanks.
And I thought that was Centel, but it wasn't.
It wasn't.
He really said that.
So the question for me, not to take it off of Paul George, but because I think that's fair, is in general, should NBA players be allowed to have podcasts
while they're in season?
While they're in season.
I don't like it.
Or even while they're in play.
Yeah.
Versus the ones that are retired right now.
I'm not a fan of the sports athletes having podcasts during season. I've never been a fan of it.
I stand with Ice. I almost wanted to say, really not if your team is doing bad. I can't see how your conversation with the owner is going in that respect. Jalen Brunson makes it tough for me to have that argument because him and Josh Hart have a podcast that I want them to stop. But every time we're down by 12 with 30 seconds left, he scores fucking 14 points.
Right.
So I can't say anything about Jalen Brunson's performance, but would I like that podcast to stop during season? Yeah. But then they got Dolan on the next podcast that they promoting, which is like a clusterfuck for Knicks fans because Dolan has had strict media rules since he inherited the team from his dad.
Yeah.
So for him to be sitting with a player and talking is like phenomenal. It's almost like the Yankees changing the beard rule.
I think it's dope. I think it gives them something mentally to distract their focus. They work out every day, but they don't work out hard every day. You know what I mean? Like they watch film, they might do walkthroughs and shit like that. But then they have a huge portion of their day that belongs to them. So if these are things that bring their anxiety down, it's fun, they enjoy doing it.
Keep them out the clubs.
Yeah, and that part. We in New York City, bro. We've seen what New York does. We've seen what New York does to athletes. You know what I'm saying? So if they could do this,
you've seen it for sure, right?
Yeah, you too.
Talk about it.
Yeah, you got eyes.
We talking about you right now. Talk about it. You've seen it for sure.
I've seen it for sure.
You was one of the niggas that did it.
I don't hoop.
Yeah. You didn't need to.
Anyway, so I think I'm for it.
I'm against it.
Even what you said, if it takes their focus, like if your team is ass, I don't want to see you focused on nothing else. It's Kyler Murray playing Call of Duty. You could do it, and I just don't want to know that you're doing that. To me, you should be trying to get better. Y'all should be trying to focus on how to turn this team around and try to get some wins out there. If you sitting here kicking it with your homies or whatever on a podcast about, it just seems focus is off.
They human, bro. So to Joe's point with Brunson and Josh Hart, they winning.
Yeah, but
that's an outlier.
No, that's not true. Draymond is winning.
Draymond's winning too, but for me, it's not about.
Bron is winning.
If you're winning, no one complains. If you're losing, people complain. But for me, and that's ultimately what it comes down to, right? As a fan or as an owner, it's the perception of it for me, as well as the effectiveness of it. The first question is, can you pod and be good at this, at your job? And I don't know. Some people can, some people can't. Before podcasts, Paul George was sitting out games. Before podcasts existed, he was fucking coming up short in playoffs. At least in a lot of people's minds. The numbers don't really show that, but whatever, right? It's a perception of it. So if I'm the Sixers owner and they're selling tickets for $1 right now in Philly, they're literally selling tickets for.
You ain't been down there in a long time neither.
No, I sold all my tickets. I paid like $200,000 for them seats.
Look at Ish wanting another date.
No, I didn't.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't go.
Who said?
No, he didn't go anymore, yo. He gonna call you when he go again.
So if I can't give these tickets away, and Embiid is injured, Paul George ain't playing, and then I go to YouTube to type Paul George in to find out when he's going to play, and instead I got another episode of Podcast P. Yeah. It just looks bad. It's bad for business.
That Paul George contract, I think, is like a 5-year deal, something nuts. It looks nuts as it goes.
New Joe Budden.